UCLA football players were teasing this new NIL deal that finally dropped, the Westwood NIL Club. You going to do it? Am I going to do it? Are we all going to join in to support your Bruins, our Bruins? Jake, welcome back. Zach Anderson-Yoxsimer, let's get locked and loaded for this episode of Locked On UCLA.
You are Locked On UCLA, your daily podcast on the UCLA Bruins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
This is Locked On UCLA. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. It is free wherever you get your podcasts, and now it's available on YouTube. Go like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can watch us, see our goofy antics on the screen, or just our ugly mugs. Who knows? As we welcome in Jacob Handy, D1 play-by-play broadcaster. He is from Fox Sports, and he is a diehard Bruins fan like myself. You can follow us, hit us on the Twitterverse right there. Jacob is a beast. He is indeed, as we go over UCLA's new NIL collective, as they now have two specifically for the UCLA Bruin athletes, one from the UCLA Athletics, and one now with this Westwood NIL Club, if you will, this Westwood NIL Club, as we go in depth about this on Locked On UCLA. And hot take on Twitter I saw is Jaime Jaquez Jr. the best wing in college basketball? We'll talk about that in our final segment, so stay tuned as we get those hands in the air, Bruin fans. Get those hands in the air.
Forget.
Yeah, you can't forget. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, UCLA. UCLA, fight, fight, fight. Yeah. Are you hyped up? Are we hyped up? We're excited. Jacob Handy, welcome back to the pod. Glad to have you back.
Twice in 1 week. It's my lucky week this week, huh?
You know, we are excited. Again, we will see his twin brothers coming up in future episodes. Zach Handy. They look the same. They're not identical. We'll go over that later. What we're going off right now to start off is in this whole world of NIL. UCLA now has a second option, which a lot of the football players were promoting on Twitter. And on Tuesday, August 23rd, in the early afternoon, the news dropped of what it is, the Westwood NIL Club. And Jake, what are some of those features to that Westwood NIL Club? There's some interesting per month dollar amounts that can get you special cool things.
Memorabilia, possibly. It seemed pretty cool. So it's kind of just like its own little membership to get you like exclusive UCLA content. $5 a month is like the minimum. If you do that, you get uh, the little web with certain players and the UCLA player produce they'll be putting out through different digital platforms and doing different digital things. If you do $25 a month, they're teasing a free with $25 a month Troy Aikman jersey, which actually does seem pretty cool. And we were both actually talking about that. We were like,
is it the Troy Aikman jersey, or is it just a jersey? I only saw a jersey.
When I was searching through the NIL website, that the link that Ben Bolch put out, it said Troy Aikman jersey. So for $25 a month, you get a Troy Aikman jersey, which is pretty cool.
Here's the real question. What jersey would you want? If there is a jersey, I know there's not any names on them. What jersey would you choose?
If you're asking me, I already have the NIL jersey. It would be Maurice Jones-Drew. That would definitely be, if I got to pick mine, I would definitely pick a Maurice Jones-Drew jersey. I have one actually in this closet right here.
Pull it out.
Jacksonville Jaguars one. No, I'm not going to go in there. What if I can't find it? I got to dig it out. But it's in there. I will bring it out for a future episode. It needs to go to the dry cleaners and get touched up. It's fine. But I would probably, I guess, I don't know. What do you take like a jersey? You just wash it normally? I don't know.
You don't wash it. You just put it on for 20 years.
That's so funny.
You don't wash it. You're in the Rose Bowl. You're sitting there. You're sweating. You put sunscreen on. You
You're
maybe
out.
have some leftover food, some barbecue, charcoal. Who knows? Whatever happened
You
to
wear
you.
it to your fantasy football draft. Just put a little beer on it, like you said, get some on it. You just wipe it
You just
off.
wear
You
it again and
just
again. For
just through
me,
every win, through
yeah,
every loss, every good time, every bad time. You just leave it.
I would say for me, I used to have a Brett Hundley jersey somewhere
That's
because for me,
actually pretty cool. He was a really good UCLA
he
quarterback.
was
That
a
kind of
really great UCLA quarterback, especially growing up when it was a lot of some dark times. And I
yeah.
know we are younger Bruin fans, so we're missing some legends like the Cade McNowns and all that stuff. But and then I feel like recently is when they started to make it more cool to have jerseys with the guy's name, with the guy reflecting who's playing. I mean, I guess that's always been the case, but I feel like it's cooler nowadays.
Could go defensively. You could go like Anthony Barr for
Oh,
like he was like a
oh,
great UCLA
I do.
Bruin and was just a menace defensively for them.
I mean, yes, a bar jersey, Sheldon Price, because we both went to the same high school, and he's coaching at alma
That's
mater
pretty
at Bishop
cool. I
Amat.
like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, that has to be a nice little tidbit. Former Bruin, Sheldon Price. I mean, okay, we've gone over enough jerseys. There's plenty of legends we're forgetting.
And
Mercedes Lewis.
then
I know Mercedes Lewis for you.
I do like Mercedes Lewis. That's my guy too. He is like I do have like an affection with the Jaguars. Like I like to root for them. For anybody who
He
doesn't
likes
know,
to
it's
root
like
for them. He's a diehard Jags fan.
I am.
Well, it
I
doesn't
am.
matter. This isn't
I am.
Locked On Jags. We'll get you connected there some way, somehow. If you're looking for more Locked On NFL channel stuff, go check them out as well. But back to this NIL collective. So you can get a jersey, and you said it's a Troy Aikman jersey, according to the website. That's still a great jersey to have. I remember his Hall of Fame speech when they retired, when they had him speak at the Rose Bowl in that horrible, crushing UCLA loss that happened on that Black Friday. But what are some of the other cool features of this new
And
NIL
then
collective?
sorry, there's one more. Like if you pay $100 a month, you get to do a steak dinner with some of the players at the end of the season, which is kind of a really cool incentive if you are have that in your bag. Seems like there could be some really cool opportunity to see some like just like the digital content the players produce.
And we'll get
I just
into
think like
that in a moment because there's some cool content features you can get a hold of. We'll discuss what the other Westwood initiative is from UC Athletics, something that they've had back since in April when the name, image, likeness thing finally took its swing towards UCLA positive front. As we give you some words from one of our sponsors, you're hanging out with some friends and putting back a few drinks. A few becomes too many as the evening comes to an end and people start to head out. And you think of calling for a ride. You live nearby and you make it home okay. It's no big deal, right? What are the odds you get pulled over anyway? And even so, what's the worst that could happen? Your insurance goes up, you lose your license, your job, you total your car, you kill someone. Everyone knows about the risks of driving drunk. The results are tragic and often deadly. However, that doesn't stop everyone from getting behind the wheel while under the influence. That's why police officers are out there right now looking for impaired drivers on our roads to save lives. So if you think about if you're okay to drive after a few drinks, think again. Play it safe, plan ahead for a ride. So many driving apps that can save us nowadays. It just takes one mistake to change your life or someone else's forever. Drive sober or get pulled over. As we bring back some news talking about our NIL collective for Locked On UCLA. The new thing is the Westwood NIL Club. That is the big thing. That is live now. The WNC. You can go follow them on Twitter at Westwood NIL Club. You can directly support UCLA football players and what is quote unquote noted as joining the ultimate fan experience. That is a new live way to help support the Bruins, our Bruins together with cool things like the steak dinner with the players. If you support up to $100 per month, you can get the Troy Aikman jersey, which I don't know. I like the Aikman jersey, my favorite. And then there's cool different ways to get certain content. We've seen these On3 sites kind of generate these similar types of content, but on this specific site, you can get access to the exclusive chat rooms, message boards, contents, which is something we've seen in other sites, right? Like some 247s or just athletic message boards. But what they're trying to do is pull fans in to something that can directly support UCLA players and specifically now UCLA football players. And this is the new day and age where we're seeing all these other pieces of how fans operate, whether it be like a podcast like this, whether it be message boards where you talk trash about us behind their back, or if you talk trash about the performance of the Bruins, better or for worse, whether you're going off on a coach, and now they're just trying to bring things in, how to learn more about these players, how to directly communicate with fans and connect with the UCLA community as a whole, while for the most part, something we haven't done in the past, but now in the present and the future, which is do it while supporting the players directly in the NIL day and age of college football and college athletics.
I agree. I think that the player generated content is a really cool aspect. I wonder how raw like the content will be. Is it going to be something that is like very creative freedom? Like, will the players have a lot of creative freedom within the content they want to put out there?
I mean,
Or
sometimes you see nowadays when you see the player takeover on the social media channels, and the players always they have some little fun things where it's like some special one player, maybe it's John Gaines the second who goes and takes you through his day at class, just something
Mhm.
like that on the social media, whether it's their athletics page or you see it with the conference page. And maybe that's something we'll see going forward with these player generated content. Sometimes it's just, oh, what did Dorian Thompson Robinson's yacht ride look like for the whole team? How,
Yeah.
players getting to
Something
see
tells
that.
me Dorian's going to be the one getting a lot of big NIL deals to be able to get the yacht rides for the team for sure. That's too funny. Yeah, I think it's a good opportunity to kind of see the behind the scenes and everyday aspect of what a high level Division 1 athlete can be like. There's an opportunity to really show that to the fans and and the the leading up to the big matchups, like what's the content going to be like leading up to like a USC matchup or an Oregon matchup, something that's got a lot of hype behind it. And it's like to see the focus and to see everybody kind of like lock in, no pun intended being on Locked On, but to really see them like lock in for such a big moment and to see the behind the scene practice, the mic'd ups. I don't know, I always love mic'd up every Sunday night football or Sunday night mic'd up on somebody. It's so good. There's a really good opportunity to see it from the player driven standpoint. All those things I just mentioned, those are a network putting it out there and making the mic'd up and trying to steer it a certain way. This is going to be a player generated in an NIL club that is basically all ran by the players. There's an opportunity to see what their creative freedom is like, and I think you could have some really cool content in that aspect.
And I believe the company that's mainly partnering with this NIL collective is Yoke, and you know a little bit more about that, Jake, right? They're taking
It's
how
well,
much
it's
percentage?
they're going to take 18% of the monthly whatever their monthly subscriptions become, and it's for them to put this they're kind of the company behind getting all these different um, getting you to view all the different player generated content and the digital events with the players, meet and greets with some of your favorite players throughout the year, maybe ask questions or just like you said, it could be something as in, take me into your morning workout, take me into your morning routine. Like what is it like for you? Who's your dietitian? How does it go
Ring the
down?
victory bell, baby. Ring it loud
We
and
want to hear it.
proud
We
while
want to
it's in
see it.
blue. Yes, ring it.
So I think there's exciting. I think it could be some actually really exciting content. I like that they're not trying to gouge you. They're not saying, hey, you have to pay this 25 to get all the player content or whatever. If you pay the bare minimum, the $5 per month, you get all the content you need. It's if you pay $25, okay, you get the jersey, you get the little extra memorabilias. But to get the content that everybody wants to see, they're keeping it at the bare minimum, which I think is awesome. It is also for the fans. You want to be able to broadcast this stuff to the fans. I think it's nice if you're in school, maybe one of your friends plays on the team, and like, 5 years ago, this could have happened, and you wish you could have supported him because money, but he still had to go to class all week, and it's like this is a way you could kind of support them and feel like you're helping them out. Really cool aspect to put it together, and it's nice to see schools doing this.
It's cool because now it was UC Athletics who launched the Westwood Exchange, the NIL marketplace that allowed student athletes in order to connect with alumni and businesses. That was back in April. Now we have the Westwood NIL Club, which is more of a direct fan to UCLA football player model, if you will. And now you have the Yoke, which we mentioned. The Yoke, they've partnered with football programs in Division I like Michigan, Louisville, Florida State, Oklahoma, Michigan State, Baylor, all sorts of guys like that. Even the Pac-12 with Arizona State, those NIL club deals. And in this day and age, college football, it's all about making money. Now the difference is the players are making money. And while they can't exactly get paid to play, the name, image, likeness is how it sounds. You can use their name, image, and likeness, and which will soon eventually with that new college football game coming out next year, which we're all excited to play. Players they'll get represented hopefully well for their NIL deals and maybe get more money or maybe a little more than they're expecting. Maybe not the most money. Some guys can make so much money, whether it be the big stars for the Bruins, like say the DTRs of the world or the Zach Charbonnets, but that's a lot of time and effort to play Power 5 D1 football. Any sport in the Division I level at the Power 5 level. It's just nice to see that they're finally getting something. And even in this day and age, we're all greedy. We're all going to the Big Ten, getting the money, which can fund all the sports. Everybody can get a little bit of some money.
Yeah, like you said, it's going to be easy for Dorian and the Zach Charbonnets. Their play is going to make the money for itself. You know what I mean? They're going to be scoring the touchdowns in front of the camera with all the big plays, but the guys in the trenches, or your offensive linemen, or some of the guys on your defense who are just doing the dirty work and probably won't have the same NIL opportunities, but are going to also need help with that compensation because they're also going to practice every day in all their classes. This is like a good outlet for them to make a couple extra bucks and help them get connected with people that could, find them better opportunities to make some money. So it's really good in that aspect to help the guys that aren't going to be able to do it for them. Like you said, Dorian's going to throw 25, 30 touchdowns or whatever it is. That's going to make the money itself. You know what I mean? That's not going to, all he has to do is show up and play and the deals will fall into his lap. But some of his center and his right guard, they're going to have to work a little harder to find the extra.
Earlier in previous podcasts, we talked about, especially with Jake, who are the biggest recruits UCLA can get in the class of 2023? Well, maybe they have the best wing in college basketball, and they already got him. He's sitting in their lap. They already have him. Jaime Jaquez Jr. A John Rothstein tweet talked about how, all right, is he the best wing in college basketball? Jake and I maybe have differing opinions, but we'll talk about that after we tell you about the ultimate college football preview. It is the best thing that we put out with Locked On. Thanks again for making Locked On UCLA your first listen every day. The ultimate college football preview is here. A 7-episode preview with college experts, local team experts, and Odyssey College football insiders. I'm on it, talking UCLA football with the Arizona schools in the middle segment for the Locked On Pac-12 channel. It's everything you need to be ready for the college football season in one spot. Search for Ultimate College Football Preview on your Odyssey app, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. Meanwhile, we flip the page, get things over to basketball front to wrap up today's show. Is that true? John Rothstein, who recently just tweeted out, said, all right, you have Jaime Jaquez Jr., who is cleared back to practice. That's also excellent. All right, he's healthy. We know he's been banged up. That ankle hasn't been so healthy. And when he's healthy, John Rothstein said in the 2021 NCAA tournament, 15 points per game, 6 rebounds per game, close to 48% from the field and 45% from three. In the 2022 NCAA tournament, 13 points per game, 5 rebounds per game, 36% from the field approximately, and a dreadful 14% from three when he was a bit banged up. I mean, you just can't. 45% one year to 14% the other
Just
year.
don't know
One
why
year
you
with
had to
fans.
roast them and call it dreadful. Okay, as dreadful
I
as
mean,
14% is, it
I
is
mean,
dreadful. It
it, it,
is. It
it
is.
is. It is. We know how good he is as a basketball player and how high his ceiling can be. But we have to be real. For a guy who showed, as I just said, 45% from three one year to 14% the next year with injuries, one number is just not good. The other one is excellent. So which
I would
Jaime
like to.
Jaquez Jr.
I would like to
Yeah.
think Jaime Jaquez Jr. of the year before, without the injuries. He's closer to that Jaime than the 14% we saw this year. I'm not here to speak in absolutes because that's just crazy. But I will say he could be. He could be when he's healthy, especially this upcoming year with another year under his belt. He could easily be the best wing in basketball. He could easily be on that Naismith watch list and probably should be on it and could be of the year this year. There's nothing he can't do, and Mick Cronin runs the ball completely through him when Tiger's not handling the ball, and even sometimes with Tiger on the court. But Jaime is the second primary ball handler on the team. He's probably the best pound for pound rebounder on the team. He's an incredibly good passer and a good passer out of the post, which is so important when you get the ball down low to be able to pass out of the post like that. He is so good with that. He can finish with both hands. He can finish around the rim. He can shoot free throws, threes, despite the 14%, and he can shoot mid-range jump shots. And I know he learned how to shoot a lot better mid-range jump shot playing with Johnny Juzang. He is 5 tool as it gets. I am just saying he could very well be that good when you put it all together when he is healthy.
I know. Did you were able to pull up those numbers about Johnny Juzang from those previous years? Did you get those up?
I have Johnny Juzang last year for sure. He averaged 16, 5, and 2 on 43%, 36 from the 3-point line, and 8 free throw shooting. So Johnny Juzang was number one option, 100%. Johnny Juzang was number one, and Jaime Jaquez too. Jules Bernard was definitely their third headed monster per game, and a little just under 4 rebounds, 3.9. So we'll call it 4 rebounds on 43% shooting. And we talked about that one time. Jules was like, he's your spark plug. You go to it early and you see if he's going, and if he's having a good shooting night, he could end up 8 for 10. But if it's not going early, he could be very well 2 for 11, 2 for 12 as well.
But with Jaime Jaquez, with him having a chance to step up with the guy who was already taking the ball as much as Juzang and even Jules Bernard, he can exponentially, as you say, he could have a ceiling as high as anybody in the country.
He's the kind of guy who doesn't have to score to impact the game either. There's going to be nights where it's not falling for Jaime Jaquez because that's every basketball player. But the nights where Jaime Jaquez is 3 for 9, 3 for 10 from the field, the way he rebounds, the way he can pass, and the way a defense has to just shrink to him. If you don't shrink and start pushing your defensive scheme to Jaime Jaquez's side of the court, he's going to eat you alive. If you one-on-ones with other players, he's going to eat your defense alive, especially now going into his fourth year. I told you I was watching the Rico Hines video for Paul George, and I'm like, dude, Jaime Jaquez is spending his whole off season playing basketball with Patrick Beverly, Paul George, Reggie Jackson, and like half the Clipper roster. I'm like, this guy's going to come back and go crazy this year.
Those are the most
Are you
annoying
serious?
defenders amongst the NBA. Those are
You
like
know what
the
I mean?
most
So nothing that
hawkish-like
college
defenders.
basketball throws at him is going to even matter if he's been dealing with Patrick Beverly all off season.
If you can handle with Patrick Beverly, your love and pride, former Clipper love, good old Pat Bev. But if you can handle that and you go to college basketball with all these important matchups looming in this season, we're looking forward towards that Kentucky matchup in Madison Square. Complete road atmosphere on a neutral site. There's just so many times where Jaime Jaquez will be asked to step up. And I think
I think
last year
it's
there's
gonna.
too many times where UCLA leaned so much on Johnny Juzang. And if
Mm-hmm.
Jaime Jaquez Jr. wasn't healthy enough, Juzang, who also dealt with his bout with a couple of ankle issues, they leaned on him, I think, a little too much, almost from that 2021 run into 2022. Now for the Bruins, it's just interesting to see how much better team ball they can play. And Jaquez, as you've already mentioned, is a guy who can affect the game positively despite not having a good shooting night. Just imagine if he has fantastic shooting numbers reminiscent of that 2021 NCAA tournament, where, as we mentioned before, 15 points per game, over 6 rebounds a game, close to 50% from the floor and 45% from three. Those are elite numbers for a guy who stands out in UCLA's roster in the Pac-12 and wants to stand out as amongst the elite in 2022 to 2023 in the college basketball season.
Yeah, he's going to be so fun this year. I think him and Amari Bailey next to each other are going to be able to feed off each other a lot. You mentioned that they maybe went to or Johnny Juzang a little too much, and I can see that too. He was like the senior veteran, and it was kind of his team. I think if they were to try to do that with Jaime Jaquez, that his skill set is actually a little better equipped to deal with them running the ball so much through him that he would actually flourish more than we saw Johnny Juzang. Johnny Juzang had an incredible year, incredible career. I think Jaime Jaquez could have possibly a higher ceiling than that, and it's really exciting this year. I'm telling you, Naismith watch list, like
So
Jaime
you're agreeing
Jaquez
with
should
John
be with all.
Rothstein. You're agreeing that he can
He could
be
be.
or
I'm not
is.
here. I cannot speak in absolutes like John wants to, saying he is the best. I can't do that. I can't do that for you. I'm not that hot take-ish right now. I'm not feeling that crazy hot take Jake fever right now. What I can tell you is that when he's healthy, he could be. I won't say he's not. I definitely won't say he's not.
Okay. We just know if your take is wrong, the Twitter that's listed, that Twitter username that's listed under Jake's name, it will soon change from Jacob is a beast to bad take Jake. We were joking
Bad
about this
take
earlier.
Jake. I like Bad Take Jake. I've been wanting to change the name, and Bad Take Jake is just seems so me. Just because
Oh,
I'm full of bad takes. I'm just full of
okay.
bad takes.
So if you're watching on YouTube, go to the comment section, type in should Jacob Handy change his Twitter handle to bad take Jake? If we can get
I'm
10 if we
so
can
ready
get
for YouTube
10
comments. I'm
comments,
so ready.
10 comments on YouTube, then we will force him to change it to bad take Jake. I mean, he's already got a wonderful, crazy, bad batch of terrible Twitter
Yeah,
names.
a long laundry bad
A
take.
long
So
laundry list of just bad Twitter names. We've had bad jokes. We've given you hopefully a good 26 minutes or so of content talking about the NIL Collective, the Westwood NIL Club. Go support your Bruin football players. Or if you want to find a way to help the UCLA athletes. The other side, there's the Westwood Exchange, which is kind of that marketplace for all the athletes, but the Westwood NIL Club just dropping with the UCLA football team, making it happen. A direct support for the UCLA football players. And as Jacob says, and I kind of agree with him, the numbers can speak to it. A healthy Jaime Jaquez is very well an elite basketball player. We expect him to have a great season coming up. Meanwhile, go check out Locked On Pac-12 with Spencer McLaughlin. Make that your second listen today. But for Jacob Handy, Zach Anderson-Yoxsimer, Bruin fans, get those hands in the air. Bruin 8 clap time, baby. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. UCLA. UCLA. Fight, fight, fight.
fight.
Meanwhile, go to the comments. Type in bad take Jake. Jacob Handy will probably have to switch his Twitter name coming up soon. If you're listening on the audio platforms, go rate us, give your comments, feedback, follow us on Twitter, whatever it may be. We appreciate your support. Can't wait for more. Football season's almost upon us, and
Right around the
eventually,
corner.
so is basketball season. What were you going to say, Jake?
So right around the corner, football season.
Right
Just
around the corner. We can't wait.
couple
We're
more days.
excited. We're excited. Yep, there's the pen. It's gone. It's over. Just like this show. This has been Locked On UCLA. Go Bruins.